Having enjoyed that lovely view, it's time for take 3 on going into the main cathedral here in Vilnius. Honestly, if Mass is still going at this point, it is almost 2:15. I will be shocked and disappointed, but mostly shocked. Because what is there to talk about? I don't know. I guess we'll see. And that is Vilnius Cathedral. Finally, the never-ending Mass ended. So now, I don't know, it's about 3:30. Is that right? Nope, it's about 2:30, which I think is a fair time for lunch. So we're gonna head into the old town, generally towards one of the segments of wall, I believe, that is still standing, and find something to eat, go there. And that could be about it for today. I guess we'll see what the weather does. Time for us to dip our toes into Old Town. It's got a similar vibe to Riga. The street's a little more spread apart, but this also appears to be the main drag, so hard to draw too many conclusions from that. Well, with a lunch of mushroom soup in a bread bowl, acorn coffee, and beer, all sloshing around in my stomach, it's time to get back to the adventure. Also, I'd heard that Vilnius's prices were unbeatable in Europe, and I really have to concur with that assessment. So that whole lunch, it was a ½ liter of beer, a big bowl of mushroom soup with the bread bowl, and the acorn coffee was only 10 euros. So that's like, I think probably 12 or 13 bucks. And that's in the most expensive part of the city. I'm in the old town right now. So, how about that? Just to think I was in New York paying $20 for a freaking sandwich not 2 weeks ago, so. What a difference a couple thousand miles can make. We now find ourselves in the main square of Vilnius. Well, not really a square, it's more triangular, but it's the main gathering point in front of the town hall, which is ahead of us, which I'm choosing to call the main square. That's probably more explanation than really needed. what we're overall looking for is one of the reconstructed walls. So once again, it's going to be fake, but still want to see it. I think it's like the Bastion of something. Bastion of City Defense. Something like that. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Something I'm loving about Vilnius is they have these nice little plaques in front of buildings of interest. So I know that this is the Church of St. Casimir and the Jesuit House instead of whatever crazy thing that Google Maps is telling me it was called. So, whatever it is in Lithuanian. I think Baznietsa or something like that is church, because I keep seeing that. Or maybe it isn't, I really have no idea. Right across the way is where the Philharmonic plays. Or the Lietuvos Nacionalinė Filharmonija, something like that. I don't know. I really do not speak Lithuanian, but it's nice. I want to say Art Nouveau building. Using the one new thing I've learned on this trip, Art Nouveau. I don't think that's the Bastion. That looks more like a church. I don't think that's the Bastion. It says it's a hotel. So I'm in a really confusing area where a lot of things look like they should be the thing I'm looking for, but instead they're just restaurants, churches, and hotels. So this is the Orthodox Church of the Holy Spirit and Monastery. I guess that's the monastery, but it's far less ornate than a lot of the Orthodox churches we've seen so far on this trip. But it's definitely unmistakably Orthodox. They still have little bulbs on the top, and they've got a fancy picture of Jesus right here. So this was not the thing I was looking for, but it's something I'm still very happy to find. So this is the only remaining part of the gate the gates rather, that still exists in Vilnius. That used to be part of the city defenses. So the rest were torn down by the Russians when they were administering Vilnius, but just one gate remained. Now there's actually some sort of church. That blue part is some sort of church on top. You can see this is the last remaining fortification of Vilnius. So these are all the gates. That's where we just went. Gate of Dawn is where the chapel is today. So this is a recreation of what the city's defenses used to look like. So you got a wall, some spikes. They have these brick walls all the way around the city to protect from invaders from the east. So the Tatars, for example, and then eventually the Mongols as well. No, not when they had cannons. That would have been a little later. So they would have guards manning the city walls 24/7. If you're a defender, you could open that little wooden thing there, fire your cannon out, close it up. You can see why war favored defense so much until you had armies capable of moving really, really quickly, overwhelming defenses. Fortifications were just pretty impressive. I believe this church is being restored. Oh, maybe it's... I don't know, it looks like it's being restored, maybe. But moving on from that, it's like the hand street. It's got all the hand symbols, the emoji ones, and some that I haven't seen emojis, truthfully. It's maybe sort of a hot take, or at least there could be varied reactions to, but I love a street performer, especially if they're playing music. This is great. Lends a nice ambiance to the whole scene. This is the Orthodox Church of St. Nicholas, and what's interesting about it is you do see the Orthodox crosses, which is sort of the giveaway, but otherwise it doesn't look that much like an Orthodox church. I guess that's sort of rounded there, but in comparison to a lot of the other ones we've seen, and maybe this is just the thing in Vilnius, is a lot of the Orthodox churches may have been repurposed from other churches, so they just look a little different. They stand out less than Orthodox churches in, well, for instance, Riga, obviously. This little church is too curious to walk by twice and not try to figure out what's going on. Another Orthodox church, my goodness. Here I thought that this was mostly a Roman Catholic country. Well, the Russian Tsar visited this church at some point. Well, that was a cute enough little church. Now I gotta figure out what the next plan is. Right now, I believe I'm standing in the, I guess you call it the courtyard of the presidential palace of Lithuania. I believe that right there is a presidential palace. Had to come in through security. Of course, I have no way of checking that without internet, but it looks awfully presidential. So I'd have to conclude it is the presidential palace. Now it looks like there's more of a courtyard out here as well. Or maybe it's a garden. Hard to say from right here. Oh, there's a map. That should help. Like I said, I think that's the main building. This sign ended up being less illuminating than I thought it would be. Valstybės Patsinimo Centra. I guess that's over there. Oh good, it's raining. Well, enjoy this look at the presidential palace. Hi. How does it stack up against the White House? I think this courtyard is a very nice effect. So I'd say it stacks up quite favorably. But it's been a while since I've been to the White House. So this could be a recency bias issue. As we stand on the other side of the presidential palace, I continue to be amazed by how close you're able to get to government buildings in the Baltic states. I mean, I was able to walk right up to the wall out there. Now, I had to go through a metal detector, but that's barely anything. I have to go through Morton Airport in the US. I mean, can you imagine being this close to the White House, not even seeing an armed guard?